Hello, this is Michnes from Namibia. Welcome to Namibia. This country is about 20% bigger than Texas with only 3 million people and a lot of dirt roads, which is nice, and deserts and everything else. So many people have asked us our first impressions of the CF Motos. Okay, nobody has asked, I'm telling you now. And I'm not going to give you, we haven't had them for 100,000 kilometers because that's actually a good review. We've got them for 3,000 kilometers now, but this is just our first initial impressions of them. And apologies for the flies. And what we did to them. So we don't do a hell of a lot to motorcycles. We change whatever is needed, really needed, and that's it. We don't fuck around with ECUs and all that stuff, because when you're in the middle of nowhere and they give you problems, you're not going to get it fixed. Why we chose the CF Motos? Well, there's the Himalayan, I think it's a 450 something. The Royal Enfield Himalayan. It wasn't in South Africa available. I don't know too much about it. And I thought it didn't come with tubeless rims. It did. Then there's the KTM 390 Adventure R, which only came out now. And although it's a very nice package, it's lightweight, it's packed like our old DRs a little bit, but no tubeless rims and a 14 litre tank, which just it's useless. I mean, you need a 14 litre tank. You need range. The CF Motor's got a 17. I've filled it up to about 17 and a half. We've done twice now, nearly 400 kilometers range. If you really go slow, and there's a lot of not a lot of fuel in between, and you can just plan better with a bigger fuel tank. Then there's the Triumph 400 Scrambler, which is not really, it's more an urban thing, small tank. What else is there? The BMW 450 is only coming out next year. So in this range, there's not a lot. The KTM 500 is not really, that's a enduro bike that you want to convert to a adventure bike. So not really the same class as these kind of bikes. We want something that's a tourer, but can also do nice off-road. That can do, if you really want to go a little bit more off-roady, it's good, but it's not an enduro bike. So that's why we chose them. They're not expensive. Well, whatever term's not expensive, but you get tubeless rims and 70 litre tank. They pack really nice. The twin cylinder motor is really nice, and we wanted something that's lightweight. We can park again, and if we want to do long distance, we can also do it with them. No, though I don't think they're a 130 140 kilometer an hour bike. 100 110, if you fit the 15 front sprocket, is fine. 200 100 110. People say that they can do 120 130 of them. I think there needs to be some mechanical sympathy. I don't think for long distances that's the way to go. They've got a 5,000 kilometer service, which is okay. The DRs were 6, so you change oil regularly. I think the motors will last relatively long. I wish they were 10 kilos lighter. We had to sacrifice tubeless, a long range, and good usability for weight, unfortunately. And I wish they were 10 kilos lighter. It's not the end of the world, but it's a difference. I mean, between the DRs on dirt roads and on long straights and off-road, you can definitely feel them. That 10 kilos, it does make a difference. And then what we did to the bikes, we actually didn't fit a lot. We fitted a South African brand Hyde bash plates. They're made from very thick plastic. They've been doing it for ages and ages for enduro bikes, so they know what the hell they're doing. Less vibrations on the bike, easy to work on, but it's very good protection for the motorcycles. We fitted Barkbuster handguards, the 5 litre Bullfrog Gecko grip from Turkana, and then just for a bit of variety, because we're in any case testing our own gear and changing and always upgrading it, I fitted the 20 litre Mad Mules, 30 litre turtle trunk, a 15 litre turtle trunk, and LCB is using the Mad Mules, the 15 litres on each side and a 40 litre duffel on the back. And that's it. Then Mike Rockfox, he makes pannier frames and crash bars in South Africa. Very good stuff. Not the kind of stuff that if you fall, that they're so strong that the brackets break your bike, your engine. Strong enough that it can take some punishment and deform in the same time. So he knows what he's doing. he asked us to fit the crash bars because he says we fall a lot, so we might need it. So we did fit that for them. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to actually add more weight to the bike. We wanted it lightweight, but yeah. Then we did graphics, the thick enduro graphics for it, for scrapes and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to upgrade the suspension also at some stage, because all our bikes get better upgraded suspension. I think the stock suspension on any bike is just not adequate if you really do a lot of dirt roads. And that's about it. The thing is, with the CF Motos, I see on all the social media groups, I get the feeling that most of the people buying them now are either new people, noobs, that coming into the motorcycling, or it's old people starting riding. So a lot of the times when you read comments from advice from people online, on social media, on Facebook, it's horrifically wrong. It's mind-blowingly stupid. It's stuff that you can't wrap your head around it. And so my suggestion would be that if you want to buy one of these bikes, you are new to riding, go find proper people that knows what they're talking about if you want to have advice on them, the setup, the suspension setup, all those kind of things. They need a bit of tuning to make them nice. The other thing is that everybody, it seems like if there's something to buy from Mr. Wang and AliExpress and whatever, the cheapest stuff, the fact that you can, it doesn't mean you have to. You really do not have to fit a lot to these bikes. We didn't even fit foot pegs. Seriously, there's not a lot you have to fit. You can get on the bike and go. So be very mindful for the advice you get from social media and on Facebook. It's really disconcerting. They're really smooth. There's nothing we can fault about them. They ride dirt roads really nice. We did a long distance on tar that we had to do to get to Namibia. Nothing eventful. It was just they start and they go. And the other thing, I really like the range on them. If you really have to slow down and get long range out of them, if you ride 60-70 km an hour, which is slow, but you can get well over 400 kilometers on a tank. So I think as an overall, just a nice usable bike. You can commute with it. We use them in Cape Town and in passes and stuff. Beautiful. I mean, they really do well. There's nothing I can fault on the bikes, but a good review would be 70 to 100,000 kilometers. 3,000, even a 10,000 is not a review. And if a bike can't last 10 or 20,000 without issues, then, you know, it's one of those. I must say, CF Moto's got their work cut out for them. And if CF Moto, anybody is watching this, I would say this. Japanese bikes, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, those guys, BMW has for years built on reliability. Very, very good reliability. And if CF Moto can do that as one thing, keep the bikes reliable and make sure that they're reliable, I think they'll have a space in this game. I don't think they're going to keep their prices that low. It's not possible. You have to sacrifice something. It just got to give. If you lower price eventually and you come at as the cheapest guy on the market, something's got to give. You just cannot. So I think the pricing is going to go up a little bit in future. But if CF Moto wants to kill a market for them, a very good market, quickly, is sacrifice on reliability on these bikes. If there's going to start rumors coming out that they don't last, they break down, all those kind of things, I'm telling you now, CF Moto can leave the industry. They will not sell another adventure bike. But if they can keep on with this kind of stuff and the reliability is there, I think they've got a good thing to go. It's really not bad bikes. I cannot fault them. So I would love to see what I rode the KTM 390R now. Very nice bike, very light, very noble. But I think it's more enduro things. It's only got a 14-litre tank. You can do nothing with a 14-litre tank. The Himalayan, very nice bike. I think is more touring orientated. But this bike, I fitted another rear shock, just to start off with. For me, it makes a hell of a difference. You lift it 30 millimeters. But in any case, we'll give a more update later on. Just a little bit of bullshit talk here from Namibia, and